Okay, let's talk about something we all dread, conflict at work. But what if I told you those super uncomfortable conversations, what if they were actually your biggest opportunity for growth? Sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to totally dismantle how you see conflict. We're going to break it all down and give you a real practical way to turn all that friction into fuel.
Oh, you know that feeling. I mean, we've all been there, right? That meeting where the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Or how about that email chain that just gets sharper with every single reply? You get that pit in your stomach, and you can just feel a simple disagreement starting to spiral way out of control. It's so stressful. It just tanks productivity, kills morale. But what if you could stop that spiral, like before it even really gets going?
All right, so this is where we have to flip the script entirely. I mean, our brains are basically hardwired to see all the bad stuff on the left. You know, the frustration, the blame game, all the mistakes. But just look at the right side for a second. When you handle it the right way, conflict can actually spark creativity. It can motivate people to get better. It can even shine a spotlight on problems that were hiding under the surface, and let's be honest, needed to be fixed anyway. See, the real enemy isn't the conflict. It's how we deal with it.
So the big question is, how do we get better at this? Well, we have to put on our detective hats and start looking for the hidden triggers. Because here's the thing, conflicts almost never just pop up out of thin air. There's usually something else going on, these underlying conditions that set the stage for the whole thing to blow up. Researchers have a name for this. They call them antecedent conditions.
And you've seen these before, I guarantee it. Think about this. The sales team promises a client some new feature by Friday, and the engineering team's heads just about explode. Boom. Incompatible goals. Or how about when two people are working on the same thing, but nobody's really sure who's in charge of what? That's a total recipe for disaster. We call that unclear roles. And of course, the classic, everybody fighting over the same little pot of money from the budget. Yep, these are the little sparks just waiting to start a big fire.
Okay, so once that spark catches fire, you might think it's just total chaos. But it's not. Believe it or not, most conflicts follow a surprisingly predictable path. And if you understand this path, this roadmap really, it gives you a huge advantage. It lets you see the conflict as a process you can actually navigate, instead of just some emotional hurricane you have to hide from.
So, how does it work? Well, it all starts with those hidden triggers we just mentioned, stage 1. Then stage 2, bam, you realize, uh-oh, we have a problem, and all the emotions start bubbling up. That leads right into stage 3, behavior. This could be anything from a full-blown argument to, the dreaded silent treatment. And that brings us to stage 4, where it either gets solved or somebody just throws in the towel. But here's the real kicker, stage 5, the outcome. The way this one conflict ends is going to cast a shadow, good or bad, on every single conversation you have with that person from here on out.
So, knowing the roadmap is great, but it's not enough, right? How do you actually steer things in the right direction? This is where you get to stop being a passenger and start being the pilot. And listen, it's not about finding one magic bullet. It's about having a whole toolkit of different ways to respond, and, this is the important part, knowing exactly which tool to pull out for which job.
Let's run through the toolkit. First up, you've got competing. This is your classic I win, you lose, my way or the highway approach. And hey, sometimes in a crisis, you need that. Then there's the total opposite, accommodating, where it's all about keeping the peace, even if it means you lose. Avoiding is, well, it's just sticking your head in the sand. Fine for tiny issues, but a total disaster for anything important. Compromising is that let's just split the difference move. It's quick, but usually nobody walks away totally happy. But there's one more. And this one, it's a total game changer.
And that, my friends, is collaboration. This is the gold standard. It's the only one that truly gets you to a win-win. Why? Because it completely shifts your mindset. Suddenly, it's not you versus them anymore. It's both of you together versus the problem. Now, is it more work? Yeah, for sure. But for the stuff that really, truly matters, this is how you build real trust. This is how you find the best solutions, period.
All right, so this all sounds good in theory, right? But what do you actually say in the moment when things are getting tense and your heart is pounding? Well, that's what we're tackling next. We're going to give you a super practical script you can use to keep those tough conversations from going off the rails.
It's called the DES script. And honestly, it's a game changer. The whole magic of it is that it forces you to focus on the behavior, on the problem, not on attacking the person. It's this really simple, easy-to-remember framework that helps you be assertive without being aggressive. It's a fine line, and this helps you walk it.
So here's how it works. D is for describe. You just state the facts objectively. No blame, no emotion, just here is what happened.
E is for express. This is where you use those I statements, like when this happens, I feel. It's about your perspective. S is for suggest. You propose a different way to do things, and, this part's crucial, you ask for their ideas too. And finally, C is for consequences. You frame the positive results that will happen for everyone if you can agree on a solution. It's a roadmap for a tough talk. You know, this quote really nails the whole point of what we've been talking about. The biggest skill you can build, the real superpower here, is learning how to make that mental shift. It's about consciously stopping that knee-jerk emotional reaction and shifting into a calm, logical, problem-solving mode. That is how you turn friction into fuel. That's the secret to building teams that are not just successful, but actually resilient. So, I want to leave you with a question to think about. What's one tough conversation that you've been putting off? You know the one. Now that you have this roadmap and these tools, how could you approach it differently, maybe even this week? Just remember, the most difficult conversations are almost